So, first, maybe you want to introduce yourself. This is Leah, everyone, and maybe just introduce yourself about who you are and what brought you to Nashville and Belmont for songwriting.
Yeah, so my name is Leah Marie Mason. I'm 21. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I went to Berklee College of Music my freshman year of college, and I transferred to Belmont my sophomore year just because I wanted to pursue country music and more of the songwriting side of things. So I came here, and I was here for a few months, and then COVID hit, and then I was home, and then I just came back in August for my junior year, and so I've been here for a little bit, and yeah, I'm in the songwriting program. I love writing. I love co-writing, and yeah, I had. Oh wait, do you want me to talk about the TikTok now?
Yeah, you can just go right into it.
Okay. Yeah, so I made a TikTok with my song, and it blew up. I think it has 10 million views right now, which is insane. And that really changed the whole trajectory of what I was doing. I've been going back and forth with labels and development companies and things like that. So yeah, I'm figuring that whole thing out right now, kind of going through it. But it's been a crazy kind of 180 career-wise. Because, before I was just thinking about, oh, where am I going to intern? Or, what am I going to do with my life? Really kind of thing. But I think the more you, the thing is with social media platforms is, you really need to take advantage of it. Because it's such a big, foot in the door for anyone. Before I had 30 followers on TikTok, and now I have over 260,000 in just less than a month. So, anyone could have done it, anyone could have made a video or make a video, whatever. So I feel like just using that to your advantage is such a easy thing to do, and could also lead to a lot of things that you wouldn't have ever expected. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been honestly so cool to just see the song blow up, and also just hearing about you talking about it in class and stuff, because we have a songwriting class together, everyone, and it's been really cool. And also Leah's very humble and stuff, so when she talks about it, she's always I love how humble you are about everything going on.
Thanks.
And but yeah, it's been really cool to hear about the process kind of going on behind the scenes and stuff. And but also I've kind of noticed too for you, it looks like co-writing is really important to you. And what would you say, how's that really been important to you in Nashville and stuff? And also how did you really get into it? Because I know I didn't even know you had to transfer and stuff, and then I didn't realize you transferred last year and stuff, and that must have been probably pretty difficult, going into a new school and then COVID hitting, and then not even be able to be settled into school before you had to leave again. And so how did you you get your foot in the door with co-writing in Nashville? And do you co-write with a lot of people at Belmont? Do you co-write with a lot of people outside of Belmont? And what does that look like for you?
Yeah, honestly, I had a friend from home that I knew from music, and she moved out here when I was a freshman in college. She moved here to pursue music. She doesn't go to Belmont or anything, just to move here. And I met a lot of people through her because she had been here for a few years. So she introduced me to a lot of people in the songwriting scene outside of Belmont. And that's kind of how I got my start in co-writes and stuff, just with girls and people that she had introduced me to. And then you meet people through them, and you meet people through them. Nashville is just the most connected town there is. But yeah, once I did my first co-write, I actually do not enjoy writing by myself. I think co-writes are so fun. It's like a hangout. It's kind of like a therapy session, hangout. Let's talk about our life. The coolest thing is that you get to know someone on such a deep level in an hour. Because you'll talk for an hour about just life and things that you've been through, and you just don't do that when you first meet someone. You don't talk about your first love, it's just not normal. But I don't know, it's so cool. So, and I think Nashville is really cool in that way, with co-writing and stuff. So yeah, I love that so much. But it was difficult with COVID. You know, I felt like I was a million steps behind everybody else, and it really stressed me out. But ultimately, you just can't worry about that. Like, the biggest thing you need to worry about is just, like, starting. Just do it. Like, you just need to do it. Because once you do it, it's so much easier to just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be my big advice, is to just write with someone. Like, just write with someone, talk to as many people as you can. Like, just really go for it, is what I would say.
No, definitely. And I think it's, like, also incredible how, like, you were able to come to Nashville and stuff, and even with COVID and stuff, like, you still obviously, like, worked hard, and obviously it worked out for you in the end. I mean, so far, like, you had your song blow up and stuff. And so did you write, so your song's called Fart Boy, and everyone should go stream it, obviously, if you haven't already heard of it. But so did you co-write that song, and, like, what did the process look like for that song, and did you expect it to, like, do what it's doing?
Right, so I co-wrote that with 3 other girls in October, and right after we wrote that song, I was like, I want to cut that song. I was like, I love that song. I felt, like, emotionally attached to it, and no one else was, like, dying to cut it, so I was like, well, I'll take it. And so, yeah, I haven't put out any music before. I never put out a single or anything. So, and I don't have a team or anything like that. So I really was doing it all on my own. You know, I got DistroKid. The whole process of putting out my music by myself was a very interesting thing. A lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
A lot of me teaching myself how to do things. Kind of finding people in town to help me out. The kid that produced my song, he actually graduated from Belmont a couple years ago. Super talented. Also, take advantage of people that go to Belmont. Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
There's so many talented people at our school. To not take advantage of it would be just the dumbest thing you could do. Because there's so many talented people at Belmont. We go to a music school, or we're part of the music school. But yeah, super talented. He's 24. And then my best friend does graphic design at App State University. It's like 5.5 hours from here. And his friend is a photography major. So I drove 5.5 hours there, stayed for less than 24 hours, drove 5.5 hours back for the photo shoot. Just fingers crossed that the photos would turn out well, because I didn't have any more money to spend on a photo shoot after that. And luckily she did a beautiful job. Amazing. But yeah, just figuring out how to put everything on Spotify and everything on my own was definitely a struggle, but I feel like I'm better for it. I feel like I earned, I don't know, a little bit of respect, I guess, because that was not easy to figure out by myself. But, you know, I did it, and I'm here, and in no way did I expect the song to blow up. I mean, I knew I loved the song, but, you know, I definitely didn't expect anything. And I feel like you should never go in expecting your song to do. You just know that you love the song, and just then that has to be enough, at least, like, in the beginning, you know?
Definitely. And I think it's so important for people to realize, like, that you do music because you love it. And like you said, like, if you love the music you're putting out, that's all that should matter. Obviously, at some point, we need to make a living off of it. But in beginning steps, definitely, like, put out music that you love. And the hope is that people can relate to it. And if you love it, that other people love it too.
Right. And I feel like until you have a following, like, you don't, like, I didn't have a following. So I was like, okay, so I can kind of put out the music that I want, right? Because it didn't really matter. But it is different when you have an audience, because you kind of need to appeal to your audience a little bit. But now I get to appeal to my audience with music that I like, because I put out a song that I liked, and now they're kind of expecting similar music, which is what I do. So it worked out.
Well, that's perfect. And so definitely staying true to yourself has paid off. Like, and like you said, now that you put out a song, the first song you put out is something that you like. Now the next song you put out can be something you like too, because you know it relates to people still. But so like, how has that like affected you so far? I know you're still in the beginning stages of everything happening, but how has like the success, like, has that affected your nerves now with the new music you put out? And like, when you go into a co-write, has that changed like your perspective when you're writing a song for yourself? And just how has that process like kind of changed?
Honestly, yeah, I was just talking to my friend about this. I am actually more insecure now, like going into it, right? Because I feel like people expect something, or like expect me to be good, or like expect me to want to cut a song or something. And I'm actually like more insecure about like my ability, or like I don't want them to overestimate my ability. I mean, I know I have like confidence in myself, but it is still, I don't know. And then I feel like I'm comparing myself to more people than ever now. I feel like, 'cause, oh, am I in this pool of people? Am I not in this pool of people like that I'm competing with? Or I don't know. It's just a interesting feeling. But I mean, in the end, I have to. It always feels fleeting. Like, I don't want the success that I've had to disappear. So it's like a constant like, oh, is this all gonna be over tomorrow or something? But I don't know. It's hard not to worry about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think like, I know obviously like, I haven't been in those shoes yet, but I'm someone, I always look into like celebrity interviews and stuff. And something that like, I read like this article by like Ed Sheeran, and he was saying how like people think when you're successful, like it gets easier, but it makes, the more successful you become, the more stressful it becomes, because then, like you said, there's kind of expectations for yourself, and you want to like outdo yourself. Every song you put out, you want the next one to be even better. And so I can imagine like just the early stages of how that's been stressful, but also like, I think it's important to like still stay in the moment and still remember like why you're doing it and why you love it, because that's how you're gonna keep your music relatable still. And like, remember like your roots and like who you are. And obviously like you're doing that, and you have stayed humble so far through all this, just from like watching it from outside perspective and stuff, and in class and stuff. You don't like go in, you're like, oh, like I'm just all this like amazingness.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I literally am so at the beginning. Like I would say I'm on the same level as anyone in our songwriting class. I don't have anything really. Like my only leverage is a TikTok, so that's not really saying a lot. So I mean, I think the most important thing is to not let a viral video go to your head, because that happens every day. Someone's going viral every day. So I don't know. Just to make sure you don't think you're bigger than you are. It's definitely. And no one likes to be around someone that thinks they're better than you. So
no, definitely. And I think that like shows too to the audience watching you is like I can tell when an artist has a big head, and that makes me not want to listen to their music. And so I think like part of your appeal probably is that you're so like humble and stuff, and people are like, oh, like she's just like a real girl, and like she seems like sweet and down to earth, and like her music is also good. And I think that makes you more of a whole package than some other people who are on the same level right now. And so like I would definitely encourage to keep that throughout the whole process, because like it definitely will show to people, and people will be able to see that and hear that in your music as well.
Sure.
And it definitely makes you like more of a whole package when you have a good personality, because you can be an amazing artist but have a terrible personality, and like it just goes it goes to crap at some point.
For sure. It also makes it hard, because then when people are reaching out to you and you're having meetings and you're having labels, they can see right through that. So you definitely want to be as authentic to yourself as possible, because that's what they want to see. People they don't want to see like this fake version of you. So
yeah, and they already have so many fake people in the industry. Like they don't need another fake person. They need someone that's literally like you, and that's like unique and different.
And that's actually your most interesting self, I think, is like the person you actually are, instead of trying to be like someone else. Like, why would you want to be like someone else that already exists? Why wouldn't you want to be you?
No, definitely. And like, how has that like been for you? Like, have you and like I don't know, like the comment sections and stuff, and have you heard people be like, "Oh, well, you sound like this artist and stuff," and how do you like not let that get to you and be like, "Oh, like they're comparing me to this artist," or has that happened to you so far?
Right. There's definitely artists that I aspire to be like and definitely have influenced my music. Like I would be lying if I said that, I didn't in some ways try to emulate, Emos Graves or Taylor Swift,
Mm-hmm.
those are like some of my biggest inspirations. So really it's a compliment. I mean, I'm totally influenced by them. So, I mean, to even be compared is nice, I guess. But, I still know I'm not them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
myself, Leah. So, it doesn't really get to me, I would say. I mean, if anything, it's a compliment, I guess.
Well, like, how has maybe like when you like write music and stuff or like are creating things, like how do you find that balance then between like being influenced and then just like copying? Because I know like a lot of people like struggle with that, especially people listening to this are going to be beginning their process of songwriting. So like where have you found that nice balance?
Right. I mean, honestly, going into a write, I don't think about, oh, I'm going to write a song like Carly Pierce, or I'm going to write a song that sounds like Luke Combs. Like I know some people who do go into writes like that, but I never typically. I mean, I'll go in saying like, oh, I want this to be like a sad, rip your heart out,
Mm-hmm.
maybe compare it to a song type of song, but
Yeah.
I never go in thinking, oh, I want it to sound like this artist. I feel like unless you have a pub deal and your job is to write for a certain artist,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no need to do that. I would just go in with an idea and just write it how you write it.
Yeah. No, definitely. Because I know that's something that like I think I've personally struggled with too, as like trying to figure out my sound is like, okay, like I don't want to sound exactly like this artist, but like I'm definitely influenced, and then like not like making all my songs sound just like them, and like
Right.
lyrically not writing perfectly just like them, and like trying to be like, no, I need to write like myself, but like I can still be influenced. And I know
Right.
like in the past like year and stuff, that's been something I've been trying to like figure out as like my sound has changed. Um,
Right.
but so like when your TikTok blew up, let's go back to that for a little bit. When that blew up, what was like just mentally and everything, like what just how did that happen, and like where did you even get that idea, like just for the video, or was it just like kind of like you just did it kind of out of the blue and you're like, this would be fun, let me just put it out there, or was it more like thought through, or just kind of like how did that all work?
Yeah, so I kind of just did it out of the blue, to be honest. I took that video, I posted it, like, literally right then. Like, I just took it, posted it, and that was it. I didn't really think it through very much, just kind of thought of the idea, did it. I mean, there wasn't really like a strategy there, to be honest. I wish there was more to say, but there just isn't. But I didn't even really strategically put hashtags on it. I just kind of put hashtag FYP, hashtag
Mm-hmm.
thing. I mean, I would say if you're going down that lane to try and get attention for a song, you definitely need something that's gonna like catch people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's more rare that people that don't have a following will just put one of their originals on with just them singing the original and it blows up.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, don't get me wrong, but it is more rare. So I mean, definitely like I just thought it would be like an interesting video to do. So that was kind of my only thought process there. I'm not really like or I wasn't before, I guess I am now, TikTok girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that much about TikTok, but I'm learning. So that's kind of it.
Yeah, and how has because like I guess I'm definitely in the same boat where like I TikTok is still kind of newer to me. I honestly I'm just bad at like social media and technology, and it's just something that overwhelms me. And so, how has that changed for you going to like you said like 30 followers and just kind of doing TikTok for fun, and then happening to like come upon like honestly, I think it was a genius idea what you did, and I think it was very well deserved success because I think more people should have thought of an idea like that. But how did it go from just like kind of doing that, whatever, and then just waking up and things kind of blew up to like now? Do you feel like when you post a TikTok video, like you has it like added pressure to you, or do you still kind of just do like whatever you kind of want, or how has that kind of changed for you?
Oh yeah, totally pressure. Like I feel like I have to post on TikTok at least every other day, if not every day. I feel like I have to, or else the world will end or something.
Yeah, and like you don't want to like lose following. I'm sure that's like nerve wracking.
Right. I definitely never felt like that before. Like, and I posted a TikTok yesterday, and it's at like 8,000 views, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a failure. So like, it's just, I don't know, when something gets to that level, you kind of want to keep that level of, success, which just, I mean, I know not every video I post is going to get 10 million views, but you're kind of just like, oh, like, I hope it stays in this range, or if I don't get this many plays today, that sucks or something. But, I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's TikTok, but it is hard not to put that pressure on yourself. But I think, I mean, putting a little bit of pressure isn't bad. Like, I should be filming every day. Like, I should be work to keep the following that I've built. So, I mean, you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but you also, you still need to put in the work.
No, definitely. And, like, I can see, like, why, like, it would be hard, like, after, like, a video like that blowing up and stuff, but also, like, I would encourage, not that, like, I have any experience at all, but, like, to keep, like, it fun and, like, to make sure, like, you keep it, like, kind of like before where you just posted videos to post them because you enjoyed doing it and not be like, oh, this has to blow up. And, like, because I had a friend at home, she's a dancer, and she had, like, a video go viral, and then afterwards it's been, like, she feels like torture to, like, keep up with it. And to, like, make sure, like, if she loses followers, she feels like she didn't do something right. And I'm like, well, just keep posting things that, like, you enjoy doing, and people don't like it, then, like, that's not your problem. Like, but also, like, for you to be encouraging, like, you do have something set up now, like, where you are meeting with record labels and stuff that will kind of help push you forward past just TikTok now.
Right. And that's the important thing, I feel like, is, take what you get and run with it then. Because if you don't take advantage of it right in the moment, you will lose it and people will not want you anymore. So, I mean, yeah, it's great that I've been having all these meetings and whatever, but in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, but if I don't sign something soon, like, my leverage is gone, kind of thing, a little bit. I mean, I plan on keeping my following, and I plan on that following. So they still have an eye on me, but, you do want to, the music industry is very fast-paced. There's going to be someone new tomorrow, so.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially, like, I'm sure it's in country music and stuff, and being in Nashville trying to buy 20 other million female country artists, I'm sure it's, like, definitely overwhelming. Because I know for me, like, I'm not even doing a popular genre in Nashville, and I still feel like there's so many people at Belmont who do pop indie stuff, and I'm like, ugh, I was like, I need to, like, catch up.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's hard to feel like you don't know where you fit, like, it's such a big pond with a lot of fish in it, so
definitely.
It's definitely intimidating for sure.
I will say, though, I've heard this from people, because I've also heard this from people who, like, went to Berkeley and stuff, and it's better to be in Nashville and be a small fish in a very big pond than to be a big fish in a very small pond, because you're setting yourself up for a lot more success, just even, like, mentally and stuff, I think, being in somewhere like Nashville where, like, you see the competition already, and so you have like you don't have the same expectations as you would if you were somewhere like, not like it's bad to be somewhere like Boston or whatever, but where there wasn't as much competition probably. And I'm probably sure you've seen like moving here has probably made you up your game, and also be like okay, like there's a lot of people doing the same thing I'm doing, and like I will have to work hard for this and stuff. And I feel
like when I went to Berkeley, I was like, oh my god, like there is just so many freaking talented people here, and I suck. Like that's I mean, but I can't help it. Just it goes through your head, you know, the self-doubt. I definitely had that when I went there. And then I came here and I was like, oh my god, now it's a million talented people that are trying to do the exact same thing that I'm doing. It's not even like they're doing different things. They're just doing exactly what I want to do. So, I mean, it's definitely intimidating. But I think your biggest assets are like what make you different than other people you see, you know? And I people trying to emulate other people's careers, and you see it in pop all the time, you know, like want to be Billie Eilish's or to be Ariana Grande's, and I'm like, that stuff really like bothers me, because I'm like, that it already exists, so like
it's already been done,
so it's not going to take you as far, you know, even if you get a little far, it's not going to take you to like that far, because it already exists, you know. So I feel like just finding your own sound, and I feel like you might see yourself at like you're as like a disadvantage because you're not sure like who you're like or what genre you, but that's such an asset. So like, because when I listen to your writing, I think you have such a niche, and like I feel like you perfectly have your sound, like to me. So I think just because it might not fit in with other stuff that you're hearing or other artists, like I don't think that doesn't mean that you don't have your sound. I think you totally have your sound, and you totally have your writing style. It's just unique to yourself. So I wouldn't see that as a bad thing. I actually think that's like people's biggest assets. I don't know.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely something I have struggled and been working on. And also I think I was even talking to my mom the other day. I'm like, I think I found my sound now, and like how I want to, like the stories I kind of want to tell, and just kind of like that whole thing. But now it's like kind of finding more of like, okay, like how do I be strategic about it when I put things out, and like kind of, I mean, basically like what you've done. Like I think marketing is so important with music, and you could have had, there's so many good songs out there that people release that are our age and from Belmont and stuff. And then I'm like, how is this song not blowing up? This is so good. But they weren't strategic. They didn't market it the right way. And that like can make or break like success, sadly.
Such a big deal. Yeah. And you can write the best song ever. It could be the greatest song of all time. But if you're not marketing it the right way, people aren't going to hear your best song ever, you know? So
definitely.
It's just all about being a little bit strategic, and it is difficult, especially when you're doing it by yourself. You know, you're not surrounded by people who know the algorithm, study the algorithm, who invest money in your marketing and all this stuff. Like, you know, I didn't have that. I just put my video on there, and it can happen to anyone. You know, that's the beauty of TikTok. I think that literally anyone could blow up. So I just think using that to your advantage is such a big thing.
No, definitely. And I think it's so important for people our age to take advantage of that, and to be like, look, I have this platform where like anyone could blow up, so I just need to figure out what's my way into it. And like, what story do I have to tell that people are going to be drawn to and be like, I want to watch the rest of that video. But definitely, yeah. And I've seen people taking after you now after seeing your success. A bunch of country Belmont girl students doing the same thing you've done, like putting the story with their song and stuff. And I think it's honestly, yeah, it's kind of funny because I'm like, wow, I was like, Leah's already making a mark. Like people are already taking after her. And I think that's something you should be proud of, because if you're influencing people, then you're already doing like the hardest part of being an artist is like influencing other artists to want to work hard and be better, because that's what any of us had gotten into it for, is because we were influenced by someone else. And like, I know for me, I was like, I want to play guitar and learn it and write because, like, I'm influenced by Taylor Swift, and, like, I think that's, like, the biggest blessing as an artist is to, like, influence people positively who are also artists to want to be a better artist. And I think you've already slowly have started to do that with people, your peers, and people, like, that are in your environment right now. So I think you should call that a success.
Like, oh, like, this, like, actually works, you know? Like, this actually worked. This is, like, a attainable thing that could potentially happen to me, you know? So it's like, you really never know. So
no, definitely. And I think that, like, that alone, like, is a success for you, that, like, you've already started influencing people to want to do the same thing because you've kind of, like, you set, like, the mark for it. And so I think
not any more talented than anyone else. If anything, I'm sure there's a million people at Belmont that are more talented than me. But, you know, so it was all about strategy and posting a video and trying to put myself out there. Like, you can't be afraid. Like, you just gotta do it, you know?
No, definitely. And I think, like, I love, like, your approach about it and, like, how you're just like, you know what? I didn't have anything super, like, smart planned out. I just did it to do it, and it worked out, and I'm glad I did it. And like you said, you didn't hold back. You just did it, and you didn't care what people are going to think about it. Be like, oh, is this a weird video? You just did it, and, like, I think people enjoy that the most, that they could see it was just, like, a fun video, and it wasn't too serious or thought out, like, super, like, piece by piece. Like, I could tell, like, it was a fun thing for you to make.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, keeping it just, like, fun and, like, not taking it too seriously, I think, is important too. So.
Definitely. So, the last thing I'm going to ask is, what are some tips you would give to someone who is new at songwriting and is just new at the whole, like, music process and doesn't know if they want to, like, continue it, and they're, like, in high school and they're like, should I go to school for this? And, like, what is some encouragement and advice you would give to them?
I would say, yeah, that's hard because honestly, I didn't start writing until I was a freshman in college. I had never written a song until I was a freshman in college. So, I mean, it's hard because I didn't even know I was interested in songwriting until I went to college. So that's hard. But for someone, like, writing in high school,
or just anyone, honestly, because we have adults listening too and stuff, like, just anyone that, like, just wants to start writing and something you'd encourage.
I mean, I would say just write as much as possible. Co-write. I think writing with other people makes you a better writer.
Definitely.
You learn so much from other people. I think that's been the biggest thing. Like, it's funny for me when I listen to the songs that I did write by myself, like when I first started, and now I listen to the songs that I write, I'm like, wow, that's a world of a difference in year. And it's because I've surrounded myself with great writers, and I've learned through them how to be a better writer. So I think just surrounding yourself with people that you think are talented, that you want to work with, people that you believe in, and working with them, and, you know, and people that believe in you is the best thing you could do, I think, learning wise and connection wise also. So.
No, definitely. And thank you so much for doing this and taking the time out of your morning. And honestly loved getting to talk to you. And I feel like you have some really good advice. And also just wanted to add, like, the other day in class when you were like, just so everyone knows, like, you don't, like, everyone has their own path to success and stuff, and, like, don't, like, take mine, like, too seriously, whatever. I think that was something that very encouraging that, like, I needed to hear too. And, like, I don't know if you, like, knew that, but, like, it definitely was nice to hear someone say it.
Yes, TikTok is also not the only path to success. It is one small path out of a million paths. Like, look at, I mean, the biggest stars, you know, they weren't discovered on TikTok. So it's just, like, everyone has their own path. And TikTok is just one of those ways, and that was my way, and that's why I'm talking about it so much. Mm-hmm. But not the only way. Nashville is a 10-year town. People call it the 10-year town. Mm-hmm. It takes people a long time. I got lucky, and this happened to me. very quickly, I know that is not normal. It is not normal, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to be here for years and, like, to really, like, put in the time and learn. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think it's actually maybe a better thing, to be honest, because then you know yourself better, you know the town better. I think it's more of an advantage, honestly. But yeah, there's just a million other ways to, get success, and success might not be what you thought it was. Success might be getting a publishing deal at whatever, or success might be doing A&R at Warner, or success just might look different than what you thought it was going to be. Maybe you thought you were going to be an artist, but your paths led you to do something else, and it's for the best, and you just never know. So I would just definitely stay on the path and keep working and just see where that takes you, because ultimately, if you're hardworking and you have I don't know, if you work hard, things will come. So just don't panic. I would say don't freak out just because you see someone else's success.
No, definitely. And like, I think that's something I naturally just panic anytime that, like, I feel like I'm not working hard enough, and then I see, like, someone else, like, successing, and, like, I hate it about myself because I'm very much one to compare.
I do the same thing, because I when I went to Berkeley, like, 3 of my friends were, like, getting famous. I was like, oh my god, like, this is so crazy. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, is it me? Do I suck? Can I not do music? And that it's just not true. So you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I have loved talking to you, and I think you are such, like, a humble and good person, and I am so excited to see, like, where your career goes, and I think you deserve everything coming. Everything good coming. And also, everyone needs to keep an eye on Leah and follow her Instagram, and also check out her video if you haven't already seen it for some reason, maybe if you just don't have TikTok. But and thank you again so much for, like, taking the time out of your morning to do this, because I know sometimes it's just not fun to talk on the phone early in the morning. I get it. God.
Rarely, of course. I would anytime talk to anyone who wants to talk. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I hope you have a good rest of the day and week, and I guess I'll see you in class tomorrow. So
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.